Hi. So in this question, we have to find out the slope of a velocity time graph and find out whether it gives the distance, the displacement, the acceleration, or the speed. So let's start. So we are having a velocity time graph. So this is x-axis is time in, let's say, seconds, and velocity in meters per second. Okay, so slope of velocity time graph. Okay, now what is slope of velocity time graph? So first of all, we'll have to have a slope, a graph. So let's say this is the graph. Okay, so this represents a velocity time graph, and we have to find out what does the slope depict. Now let's take 2 points on this graph. Let's say this is point A. Let's say this is point A and this is point B. How do I find out the slope? You have to first drop the perpendicular to the time axis and then to the velocity axis. Okay, now complete this right angled triangle. Okay, let's call this point as C. Okay, now slope is, let's say, okay, first of all, let's say this is T2, this was T1, this is V2, and this is V1. That is this point is V1, this point is V2, this point is T1, and this point is T2. Now how do we define the slope? Slope is given by this distance divided by this distance, or this length divided by this length. Now this is nothing but change in V from V2 to V1 to V2. So delta V, we can say this is V2 minus V1, and this is delta T, and this is equal to T2 minus T1. So slope of BT graph is nothing but delta V upon delta T. Okay, so why is this called slope? Because it's like, okay, let's say you are ascending a hill, and how to define the steepness of this hill? So you will say that if I get displaced by, let's say, x meters in the horizontal direction, this leads to a displacement of y meters in vertical direction. So my slope or inclination of this hill was nothing but y upon x. So for every meter moved in x direction, how much do I rise up in y direction? Let's say, how do I know whether it is steep or not? So let's say if there is a steeper hill, so let's say this is the hill and you are ascending this hill. Now again, so let's say this distance is y dash. So what's the slope in the second case? Let's say this was case 1 or A, and this is case B. So this was the case A. Now in case B, the slope will be y dash upon x, right? For x meters moved in x direction or horizontal direction, you rise up by y dash meters. So hence slope in case of B is greater than slope in case of A, or inclination in case of B is greater than inclination in case of A. So clearly y dash by x is greater than y by x. Why? Because y dash is greater than y, right? So this is how the slope is measured. So in this case also, if I'm measuring the slope of this line, so I have to find out if I move horizontally by delta t, how much delta v change do I get in vertical direction. So hence slope is delta v by delta t. Now by definition acceleration is given by delta v by delta t, or this is nothing but rate of change of velocity with respect to time. So this is rate of change of velocity, and that's acceleration. So if you see, delta v by delta t is acceleration, so hence the slope here in a velocity time graph will give me acceleration, right? So this is nothing but acceleration, right? So slope in a velocity time will give you acceleration, right? Now if it was, let's say, think about this question, what will the slope of a distance time graph give you? So let's say distance or displacement time graph. So this is displacement s and this is time. So again there is a displacement time graph. So slope of displacement time graph will give you what? This is a question to ponder. Think about it. The solution or the answer is one of them, one of these four options. So for this question, slope of a velocity time graph, the answer is acceleration. For this question, the slope of displacement time graph, find out, or distance time graph, find out the answer. The answer is one of these four. Thank you.